Here's my personal opinion of the best 5 heroes in this game. I'm doing a £50 gift card giveaway once I reach 1000 subscribers. All you've got to do to enter is like this video and subscribe. So at number 5 we have Arden, and a few of you may be confused as to why I've got Arden in my top 5 list, but if you look at his skills, he's actually a very impressive hero. So here we have Entangling Roots. If you get this to level 4, Arden will entangle 3 enemies. That's more than half the enemy team, and whilst they're entangled, he's dealing 70% damage to them. And whilst they're entangled, they can't attack, they can't dodge, and they can't move. They're basically a sitting duck for you to utterly destroy. We have Force of Nature. He can do 5 hits, a maximum of 5 hits, and each hit is dealing 150% damage. That's a lot, guys, especially 5 times. And it says here level 3, each successive hit increases attack damage by 10%. So if you're doing it 5 times, that's 50% increase there. And then Shield of Thorns. He has an ability that he can put around an ally that is able to deflect 80% of magic damage. It can be activated every 0.13 seconds. If this is level 2, enemies that receive deflected damage have their haste reduced. So not only is he protecting an ally, he's also damaging or sort of hindering at the enemy. And that's a really cool ability. So at number 5, I have Arden. So at number 4, I've got Verdan. And I know a few of you think that Verdan is possibly the best hero in the game, but the reason he's number 4 for me is because I don't think he is an end game hero. You can't get Verdan to mythic tier. So if you're playing this game for months and months, you don't want to be having, you know, a legendary plus hero when you could be having a mythic plus hero. So that's why Verdan is 4 and not 1 for me. Have a look at his skills. Verdan attacks a target in front of him, dealing 45% damage, and each time he hits a strike, he regains 2% of his own HP. And that's not a bad ability, you know. Every time he's hitting a strike, he is regaining 2% HP. So I think that Verdan could carry a team if he is hitting these strikes. A level 4 is increased by up to 65%, and that's a lot. He also has an ability to send a swarm or a colony of bats for 6 seconds, surrounding and attacking enemies. This ability is quite cool because, you know, he's dealing damage to multiple enemies, and it says here level 2, damage is increased by up to 65%. Ability is active for 6 seconds, and Verdan's life leeching attributes are increased by 40%. At level 3, it's increased further to 7 seconds and 50%. And then his other ability is Thirst. And this ability allows him to buff an ally, increasing their life leech attributes for 8 seconds. So if you've also got Shamira in your team, and Shamira is amazing at life leech, and she's getting a buff on life leech, she's not going to die. She's going to be leeching from the enemy, taking away their health and giving it to herself. And that's why Verdan for me is number 4. If you've ever played against Brutus, you will know exactly why he is in my list. He is an insanely OP character. If we have a look at his skills here, he has an ability to make him immune to damage for 8 seconds. So whilst he's slaughtering your entire team, you can't touch him. He is invincible for 8 seconds. He also has a roar ability, which says here that he lets out a terrifying roar that causes enemies to become more vulnerable, and then any damage dealt to the enemies is increased by 25%. Now here it says at level 4, damage received by enemies is increased by 50%, but I think that's meant to say damage dealt, not received, so it would be a little bit backwards if you got level 4 and instead they're dealing more damage to you. So I think that's a typo in there. Whirlwind. I've played against Brutus. He's used this ability against me and he's just wiped out my team. He is so powerful. He strikes twice and then goes into a spin. And whilst he's in this spin, 35% of total damage dealt is converted into health. So whilst he's dealing damage, a lot of that is then coming back to him for health. And then Brutal Defiance. So it says here that its attack rating is increased by up to 100% and haste increased by up to 25%. So not only is he powerful already, if you get this skill, he's going to be buffed even more, and that is why Brutus is number 3 in this list. So at number 2, I've got Burke. But previously, I did regard Burke as being the best hero in the game. But then I found another hero I've been using, which I'll tell you in a moment, and I believe that this hero is now the best in the game. But Burke is still an impressive hero, and I would still rank him as being number 2. I've already done a video on Burke, so I won't go too much in depth, but basically, Burke is an insanely OP character, can deal insane amounts of damage, and his ability here, he can run up and down the battlefield for 15 seconds, and whilst he's doing this, he's dodging, you know, you can't hit it, well you can, but it's incredibly hard to hit him. And if it's at level 3, his damage is increased by 100%. He can also make himself invisible for 7 seconds if it's at level 3. And whilst he's invisible, it's going to be insanely hard to see where he is to hit him. So that's another reason why Burke is insanely OP. And he also has, you know, these bolts that he fires at the enemies. If you get this to level 4, his bolt damage is increased, and it also restores 30 energy points for every enemy that is struck. So if he's hitting all 5 enemies, that's 150 energy points regained. And not only does he have those attacking powers, he can also use poison. So he'll lob, you know, a poison bottle, a vial at the enemy that causes 120% damage. It says here, if the cumulative damage of the poison reaches 15% of the enemy's target HP, the target will explode. You know, that's got to be pretty cool to watch, guys, come on. And if that's at level 3, the damage is increased by up to 150%. So if you've got Burke, you're going to be dealing incredible damage. And that's why I really rate him for, you know, the boss that you do in the guild, team hunting, because he will just deal so much damage. And he's insanely OP. And finally, at number 1, we have Shamira. And if you have Shamira, you will know full well why she is at number 1. This chick can single-handedly carry your team. If we have a look at her skills, they are incredible. So this one here says that she does more damage the more health she possesses, and it can be increased by up to 30%. At level 3, 40%. She has Soul Siphon. She can continuously leech on enemies' life to restore her own health. And this also deals 45% damage every 0.5 seconds. And at level 4, that is increased by up to 60%. She also has Tortured Souls, which says, souls of the dead spiral around Shamira, causing continuous damage to nearby enemies over a duration of 12 seconds. And it says 50% of all damage caused by this ability will be converted into health that heals Shamira. So if she's, you know, at half health and she does this ability, she'll be at full health again. She is insanely hard to kill, you know, if you're playing with her in the correct way. At level 3, damage is increased by up to 90%. And then she has Silence. Shamira deals 100% damage to a magic-based enemy and prevents them from casting any abilities for several seconds, and that's why it's called Silence, because that hero then can't use any of its magic attacks to hurt you. And it says here as well, at level 3, damage is increased by up to 150%. And guys, the amount of times that I've been doing a boss battle and Shamira and Burke are my only 2 heroes left, you wouldn't believe the amount of times. And that's why I really rate Shamira, and that's why she is at the number 1 on my list. If you guys find this video helpful, please do drop a like, and I will see you in the next video.